Hello everybody, it's Sway and I am here showing you guys a extremely easy unkillable team for Ultra Nightmare, Nightmare, and Brutal. Just kind of coming over here, the champs that we are using are the two main important champions are the double man-eater, of course. This is a double slow man-eater comp. The 3 DPS like the Chigar, Fane, and Rosin here are all replaceable. I'll show you guys a couple of champions toward the end of the, at the end of the run. I'll show you guys the champions and the builds and stuff like that. But I mean, the fastest champion in this entire team is only 220 speed. I did build these guys extremely sloppy to try and simulate someone newer, maybe like a level 60, 70 account that just barely got their second man-eater or something like that. So they're not in good gear. I just want to show you guys the possibilities of this. So let's hurry and get into the run, kind of get it going. I'll talk about it a little bit as the run gets going, and I will talk about the setup also. So hopping into the run right now, I'm a couple of turns in and I didn't quite get the turn order, but I'm going to go ahead and pop that up on the screen and you guys can go ahead and pause the video and screenshot it. This one was a little finicky just because Fane is bad affinity against the clan boss right now, so this team would probably ideally work better on avoid affinity. You can see she's getting a ton of weak hits. I think there's only maybe a handful of times where she doesn't weak hit during this whole entire run, which is kind of a bummer, or she would have pumped out a lot more damage. But the turn order, I have it up on screen right now. You can see we're going to A1 with your fast man-eater that's going 220 on the first boss count, and then we're going to wait until the fourth boss count for the second man-eater to go ahead and use his A3 ability, the Unkillable, and then the fast man-eater will use his Unkillable on his second turn on turn count 6, and then after that it's fully automatic. So the only unfortunate part about this Unkillable team is there is some manual work. Again, this is not going to be a one key unless you have absolutely insane champions with some insane gear, but I really just wanted to simulate an early game account that was lucky enough to get two man-eaters, and then they can kind of fill in their DPS with whatever they have. I'll give you guys a couple of better options at the end of this run, but we're kind of just going through here. There is a little bit different turn order for Brutal Clan Boss that should also be up on screen right about now, so you guys can take a look at that, screenshot it, do whatever you do. You'll live by this. If you do end up using this Unkillable team, it'll maybe take a week if you happen to go back and look at your screenshots or the turn count order or whatever you need to do. But after that, it gets burned into your memory, and I don't even use this clan boss team anymore, but it is so hardcore burned into my memory from using this clan boss team for over a year. I keep remembering it. Now, when I was using this, I had the best gear on my account on these guys, so I was able to 2-key this. I was using Geomancer instead of Rosin here. The only reason I didn't put Geomancer back into this is because I use him in my Iron Twins, and I didn't really care to rip him apart, so we'll leave him alone. I would say the only champions that would make it a little trickier to make this work is anyone giving you turn meter on yourself with their A1, like Ninja, for example. I know Ninja can kind of work in this, but he has to be in the slower slot, and you have to make him a little bit slower. So if you guys want to use a Ninja in this, I would highly recommend going to Deadwood Jedi's site, and he has a couple of tips if you're trying to put Ninja in here, because he's going to be at different speeds, and it's kind of just a little bit trickier. So I kind of just went this route, super easy, plug and play. We'll let this run kind of just run out really quick, and then we'll come back at the end of it. I'll kind of tell you these guys' damage. Again, don't expect much. I'm trying to simulate a very early game account or mid game account. Anyone that has a double man-eater, right? I mean, the gear, as long as you have the champions, it's up to your gear on what the damage they're going to be doing is. It kind of sucks because in this run, Fane is probably one of the better built champions just because she was in this old clan boss team and I kind of left her gear the way it was, so kind of sucks. She's weak affinity against this guy because you can see she's pumping out those weak hits like no other. So she's really lackluster on this, but we'll go ahead and let this run play through, and I will catch you guys at the very end of it. Alright, so coming to the very end of this, you can see there's not a lot of crazy damage. Man-eaters, if you were to build them with 100% crit rate, some good crit damage, they would easily be pumping out 10-15 million, especially with that War Master. Again, Fane should be pumping upwards of 20 million, but she was weak affinity. Chigar, 10-15 million, sounds about right. I'm sure that Brimstone Blessing really helps, and Rosin is really low with his damage. Again, this is a 3-key Ultra Nightmare team, and if you're able to be pulling this off, you know, I'm just trying to show that all you need is the speed, and you automatically have a 3-key Ultra Nightmare team, which is extremely account changing. I mean, you'll start to see shards rolling in, you're going to help your clan start taking down Ultra Nightmare clan boss, and if you're in a newer clan that isn't taking down Ultra Nightmare clan boss and only getting it down to, you know, you can't even get it down below 50% where it switches affinities, it's going to be void, and then no one here is going to have a problem, so everyone's going to be doing their best amount of damage. Let's go ahead, I showed you guys that, let's go ahead and hop into Raid now. And I'll show you some of the builds, okay? So, just hopping in here, since Chigar is first up on the list, you can see, look at this, he's missing a ton of damage. I could have a crit damage glove on him. I could have crit damage amulet on him. Look, he's 73% crit rate with 82% crit damage. Like, this is a horrible build. It's got a little bit of accuracy. The most important thing here is that speed, that 178 speed. With the 2 damage dealers, you have a pretty lenient speed tune you can do. We're looking for 173 speed to 178. Anywhere in there, that's kind of where you want to be. You can kind of mess around, just make sure you're around there. So that's Chigar's build. Again, Masteries, we have Giant Slayer on him just because he's doing so many hits. Chigar is probably one of these I wouldn't see most people running in their clan boss team just because you may not have him or you have a better option. Coming down here to Fane. Fane is in War Master. She should actually be in Giant Slayer. Giant Slayer treats her a lot better. Just haven't used her in Clan Boss that much, so I would not go War Master on her. I would 100% recommend Giant Slayer. Don't do what I did. As far as the support tree, it's alright. You kind of want to stick away from Lore of Steel, just because it can kind of make your runs a little bit weird. Again, coming in here, Fane's probably one of the better built ones. She's still not even at 100% crit rate, because all I cared about was getting the speed. She's my second damage dealer that I tried to get between 173 to 178. She's running at 174. So we have her in here. And then going back to Rosin. Rosin's the one that I kind of just threw in here because I didn't want to put Geo in. Where is he? Oh, there he is. Again, look at this. No crit damage. Gauntlets. We come in here. He is at... Hey, I just want to interrupt. Sorry, it's me again. I was looking at Rosin's speed, and it should be down at 169. That's typically where your third damage dealer, the slowest one, is going to be at. I have no clue how this worked with him being at 176. You guys can go ahead and try this, but I would recommend your third damage dealer being at around, no, not around, exactly 169 speed. I don't know how this worked. I'm glad it did. If it works for you guys, I would recommend going this route, just because then everyone's getting a turn before the clan boss goes, and then you don't have your other damage dealer kind of falling behind because he's not getting as many turns. So you guys can try this out. Try them all out with 173 to 178 speed. If it's not working, take that one damage dealer that is kind of okay if he has a little bit less turns, down to 169. Sorry about that, guys. On to the video. He's at 176 speed with 68% crit rate, 141% crit damage. Again, he's not even fully crit cap. His accuracy is horrible. All I care about is getting him to that speed, that 173 to 178 speed. That is all I care about getting these guys to. Again, he would probably also work a lot better in Giant Slayer War Master. You want all these guys to at least have, you know, if they're having multiple hits on their A1 and they're your damage dealer, you could recommend Giant Slayer. If it's just one hit, like a Man-Eater, I would recommend War Master. Some other options you could do, you could use like a Ferric in the Fat. Again, just kind of get his speed to around 173. I use him in my arena, so didn't really want to switch his build out, but you could use him too. The one I would recommend the most, if you guys are getting that clan boss down to 50% percent HP or lower when he starts to do his double attack when he hits his affinity is Geomancer. Geomancer is going to probably take this clan boss team to a 2 key just because of his passive. It's so strong. You don't even have to have him at 100% crit rate, even though it would help. His passive is super important. And again, if you're going to use Geomancer, I would recommend offsetting his HP burn that he puts out to make sure that he puts it out right before the clan boss goes ahead with his 2 AoE attacks. Then you're going to kind of maximize him the most that you can. A couple of other honorable mentions here. Let's get into the Maneater. Sorry, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. Maneater, again, look, I don't have a banner. I don't have a helmet on him. All I care about is going in here and getting his speed. So this is the slower Maneater going at 215 speed. He has a little bit... The Maneaters are a little more finicky. They have a range of about 213 to 215 for the slow Maneater. I've learned that 215 is the sweet spot. That's where you want to be. You want to kind of try and do this without any of the speed sets like Perception, Divine Speed, Speed. That'll kind of throws off the true speed a little bit. You can plug this team into Deadwood Jedi's calculator if you do want to use the speed stuff. Again, I would kind of try and stick away from it. Just use a broken set, whatever you have. Coming over here again, look at this. No crit damage, gloves, so, you know, crit rate is way too low. Crit damage way too low. Accuracy, you don't necessarily want accuracy, especially if you're going Geomancer. Feign wouldn't be the best option just because then she places that decrease attack out and Geomancer isn't getting his full potential from it. So maybe like an Annex or something like that would be better instead of Feign if you wanted to use Geomancer. This is the fast Maneater going at 220. Again, he has some variable speeds too. It's about 218 to 220. I have found that 220 works better on this, so I would just shoot to get to 220 for your fast Maneater. For your slow Maneater, again, you want to try and shoot for 215. And with that, you kind of, you have your Unkillable team. The 3 damage dealers can be anyone, absolutely anybody. You could run Annex in there. You could use Geomancer. Geomancer is one I would recommend. You could use a Ferric in the Fat. You're going to get a lot of ally attacks. A Feign, super good. Martyr, again, Martyr would be extremely good for this team too. Anyone that's going to, either put up a counterattack, ally attack, like a Kreela. Kreela could be really good also. The only reason Razin is so nice is because he is a free fusion that, you get pretty early on in the game, I would say. If you get 2 Maneaters before a Razin, then your account's on to amazing things. Skull Crusher, another one of these counterattack champions, super good to use in here. I'd stick away from people like Ruella, even though she could be good. She's doing a lot of turn meter stuff for herself. Stagnite, it's pretty okay. He'd probably be good if you don't have any defense down champions. But I'd probably honestly put a Cold Heart in there before I put a Stagnite in there. Stagnite's an amazing champion, but we're looking for damage dealers at this point. People that can go ahead and place, your defense down. Get some poisons out there, like a Kale. Kale could work perfect in this team. I don't have him in here, but yeah, here he is. Kale, he could work absolutely perfect in this team, getting a lot of poisons out there. Even a Colt Brawler. Where is my man, Colt Brawler? Well, Colt Brawler, he's also a really good option too. I used him for quite a while in my team. So it's kind of going to be up to you guys to kind of switch around the gear, kind of see where you're going to get that most damage out of, right? To get this team to a 2 key isn't too hard. If you just have good enough gear, good enough champions, getting a 2 key in Ultra Nightmare is not too far from your grasp. This is pretty bad gear I have on these people. I mean, I'm missing lots of different pieces on all these people, so just go ahead, build them for, you want to get to their speeds. That's the most important thing. That's kind of what I'm just trying to show in this video, is speed is the most important thing, but you also need to prioritize that crit rate, crit damage, getting your masteries done. These guys do have to be booked out. The only people that have to be booked out are your Maneaters for their Unkillable, but again, you could use all epics basically and just make sure they're all booked out, and you would see a lot bigger return in your investment in them. Again, this is your clan boss team, so if you are somewhat early game, you're not up here hitting 100 million, one king clan boss, I would, a two key Ultra Nightmare team is absolutely amazing. It's clan boss is very, very hard early game, and getting, these double man eater teams really, really unlocks clan boss for you, right? And, you could be like my boy African boy up here with two Krisks, but it's like, you're more likely gonna have two man eaters than two Krisks wherever you are at in the game. So there's tons of different teams around this. Going one of these teams with the Draco, Seeker, Painkiller, and two man eaters is a really strong team. They call this team, the one I'm running right now, a 1-for-1. So that means every turn I get, the clan boss gets. Occasionally a man eater will get 2 turns. That's when he puts up his unkillable. But when you get into these endgame accounts where these guys are going, a 1-for-2 or a 1-for-3, that's when you start to get in that 1 key territory. But I mean, 25 million damage. It's an easy 3 key. And 3 key that, come over here, hop into Nightmare, get your 1 key down in here, and then, you're perfect. Again, the Nightmare run is a little bit different. You are going to, I'll have it popped up on the screen, but you're actually going to be able to go auto after turn count 5. Everyone's going to kind of just be offset a turn, so first turn count, your fast man eater, third turn count, your slow man eater, second turn on turn count 5. Your fast man eater will put the unkillable up again, and your full auto after that. So unfortunately there is no team setup for this, just because it takes a little too long to get into the run. So but yeah, that's kind of, I just wanted to show you guys an easier unkillable team. I did do a video a little while ago which has blown up, so I appreciate all you guys. That was really cool. Fun to see those numbers going up, fun to see that you guys are getting some useful information about this stuff. So I kind of wanted to do even an easier unkillable team, see if maybe you guys, have the champions I showed off in this video, and you could run them, and boom, you have an unkillable nightmare team and Ultra Nightmare team. So I do hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys so much for checking out all my videos, watching my videos, and thanks so much for the support on my last Clan Boss video. I hope you guys all enjoyed this. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace out.